Merry Christmas! How are we all doing? I hope that we are all wonderful, thankful, and joyful. My name is Steph, and I am the founder of Vocal Journey, where the aim is to make singing accessible to young people, to provide more personal learning, and to equip students with skills they'll be able to take out into the world. Before we get started, make sure that you like this video, hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you can be notified for any upcoming videos. Today is another episode of Vocal Analysis, where I'll be reacting to the video that I posted a couple of weeks ago where I sang Once Upon a December, and I'll be breaking down the techniques that I used to make it sound the way it did. Now, to mark the fact that it's 1 week until Christmas, I am wearing all things Christmassy. So I have my Christmas jumper, which I'm going to show you whether you want to or not. The Grinch, which is my favourite Christmas film, or one of. I've got reindeer earrings on, which are right there. Ooh, that way. See? And I got my nails done yesterday, so they're very festive as well. They are beautiful. I love them. So on that cheery and festive note, let's get started. Dancing bears, painted wings, things I almost remember, and a song someone sings, once upon a December. Okay, so with Once Upon a December, at the very start, Anastasia, which is the character that I'm playing in this song, opens this music box and it starts playing this music that she vaguely recognises but isn't entirely sure where she isn't entirely sure where it's coming from. She's not sure where she recognises this music from. So that's where you see the confusion in my face at the beginning, kind of going, okay, there are these images in my head, but they're not correlating at the moment, which is, the dancing bears, the painted wings, but she's not sure exactly what those are. So at the start, I start very quiet. There's a little bit of a leaking of air through the vocal folds whilst I'm singing, so they're quite breathy. And that's just because this is very internal at the moment to begin with. The memory is very small, so the memory hasn't grown yet. Obviously throughout the song it grows and grows quite big because that's where it becomes more outward, but at the beginning it's very, okay, what is this? This is interesting. And obviously I'm using my mix. Now I need to do another section of what mixing is again, because since my last video, which was quite a while ago now, in October, I've been taking some vocal courses because in January I'm starting a 2-year vocal teaching course, which is very exciting, and I'll become an accredited teacher at the end of it. But in the meantime, I've been doing a lot of prep courses, and I learnt about mixing, and what I said last video was wrong. So 1, I'm sorry, I gave you that misinformation. So 2, we're going to relearn what mixing is right now. So what is mixing? Well, I'm going to start off by telling you the 4 different modes in your voice that you can access. So the first one, which is called M0, if we're going to get very technical, is called your creak. So that's the sound. You get a lot of that, and you hear that a lot in American accents, at the ends of phrases or the beginnings of phrases. It's also a good way of cooling down your voice at the end of a long singing. You've been singing for quite some time. It's a great way to cool down your voice. But that's creak. Then you have your first official mode, I guess, mode M1, which is your chest voice, or your modal voice, whichever one speaks to you and resonates with you. And that's where the muscle in your vocal folds is actively working. Then you have your M2, which is your falsetto, your head voice, and that is in the higher part of your range, and that's when the muscle's not working anymore and it's just the outer layers of your vocal folds that are working. And then your last one is your whistle tone, which I'm not going to do for you because I don't think I know how to do it. I've never tried. So I'm going to put an example right now. So there's your 4 things. And you get to a certain point, especially between, and when we're looking at mixing, we're normally looking at the transition between your chest voice and your head voice. In the last video, I said that it was a specific thing, like it was rooted in the chest voice, I think it is, mixed with the head voice on top, sprinkled on top. Well, there's more than one way of mixing, and it depends on which direction you're travelling in your range. So, you know, if you're going up, you'd have to make some alterations in terms of your resonance, so the type of sound that you make to help compensate for the transition you're making on the way up. And then obviously going from head voice back down to chest voice, you then have to do something different to go back down. So that's what mixing is making those alterations in your voice to smoothen the transition between your ranges. And it looks different each time. So I hope that is more clear. And again, apologies for spreading misinformation in my last video. Okay, moving on. So I start very quietly, and then at the end I start to increase the volume, which is I'm putting more pressure on the vocal folds to do that. So let's carry on. Someone holds me safe and warm. Horses prance through a silver storm. Figures dancing gracefully across my memory. Okay, there's not a lot to say about this next part because it's one of those songs where I don't really do a lot of alterations to my voice to make this song happen. But I do start to add a bit of vibrato into this. If you don't know what vibrato is, it's that kind of slight wobble that you hear in the voice. So I'm just going to go back a little bit and I will point at the point that I do some vibrato. So let's go back a little bit. Figures dancing gracefully across my memory. Nope. So the across my memory, that slight wobble that you just heard, that's vibrato. How you do it, I currently don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing in my voice at that point. I'm at the very start of my journey in terms of learning how the voice works and what you do to make certain things happen. So hopefully one day I will be able to do a video and talk about how vibrato works. Someone holds me safe and warm. Horses prance through a silver storm. Figures dancing gracefully across my memory. So singing the same section again, but this time in the actual show, she is reliving her memory of the ballroom. There's a lot of dancing going on around her. And she's just seeing all these figures dancing gracefully and just seeing this whole scene come alive. It's her memory coming alive in front of her. So I made it louder because, the music's swelling up. She's now outwardly living out her memory. It's, at the beginning, like I said, it was very inwards. Now it's very outwards, so I need to increase that volume. But it's not just about increasing the volume, it's how I do it and why I do it. So when you're looking at a song, especially musical theatre, you need to look at why does the volume increase, and why am I increasing with it? What's going on around me to kind of warrant that reaction, vocally, physically, all of that kind of stuff. Remembering things a bit more clearly than she was at the start of the song. And then another thing that I did was I changed the shape of the vowels of some of them. So warm changed to, I don't know what it changed to. I need to go back a little bit. Let's see what that was. Someone holds me safe and warm. Warm. Horses prance through a silver storm. So it was warm or warm, I can't remember, and storm. So it's a lot more open. I opened my mouth a lot more, and I think that was just to facilitate the fact that I'm singing louder. So I think I had to make some alterations, so that it wasn't too forced or too strained in my voice. Because if I did it a lot smaller, it would have been a lot harder to do. It would have been like, someone holds me safe and warm, warm. Because my mouth is really closed, I'm feeling a lot of pressure, air pressure around the back. That's then coming back on my vocal folds, and it's just a lot's going on, and it feels a lot of tension and strain. So I think I made some adjustments for that. Let's carry on. Let's go back forwards a little bit. Should I say not back? Far away, long ago, growing dim as I remember, things my heart used to know, things it yearns to remember. Okay, so obviously the far away long ago was loud, because it's kind of like I'm trying to reach whatever it is that's far away. And then glowing dim as an ember, it's there's something far away years ago that's glowing very dim. And so I quietened it down to represent that dimness, whatever it was that was glowing, to represent how dim that was glowing. So things my heart used to know. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out why is it I used to know? Why don't I know it now? And then the things it yearns. I'm like yearning. That's why, because I put that little emphasis on the yearns, because my heart yearns to remember it, because I don't remember these things. I do and I don't, I can remember bits, but I don't fully know why or where it's coming from. When did this happen and where and all of these things. My heart yearns to know these things because I don't know who I am. I'm talking as a character, like Anastasia. I don't know who I am. I don't know where I came from. I don't know who my family is. I'm at this point where I'm trying to discover who I am. And now these memories are flooding back. I need to know. So that's where the emphasis on the yearn comes from. And a song, someone sings. Once upon a December Okay, so I scaled it back down again because I was very outwards, and now I've come back to the music box that started this whole song off. It's Nick's, obviously, the song's coming to an end, so I'm back at that music box. And so now I'm quiet again because I'm talking to this music box. I don't need to talk any louder. And when I worked on this in my singing lesson with my teacher, she asked me, when it came to those holding those notes but quietly, is kind of acting like I was holding a feather and slowly carrying it across and putting it down without it wobbling and stuff, so being as gentle as you can. And that's kind of what I imagined when I did that part. The sings, that was in my head voice, that wasn't mix. So I went from the and a song someone sings, slightly went into mix, and then went back into my head voice. So in terms of what I did for that, I just released that pressure off. Someone sings, someone sings. Changing the space in your mouth, that also kind of what I did. Just altering what's going on in the voice to allow that to happen. Yeah, and then again, I think mix, falsetto, vibrato at the end. The reason why that was happening is because I was running out of breath. I was hoping, I did so many takes of this, I was trying my best to hold the breath for longer, but I just couldn't in that moment. So I added that vibrato at the end just to at least smooth it out a bit. So yeah, that is Once Upon a December. I hope that you all enjoyed that video, that you found it useful, and that you feel empowered to try those techniques out yourself. If you have any song suggestions or you would like private lessons, then please feel free to message me on these 2 social media platforms below. And just to let you know that from January onwards, I will be doing my videos weekly, not every 2 weeks. So you will be getting a lot more content from me in the new year. So I will see you all in my next video. Merry Christmas!
Hello?
Hello?
Hello. I love